that operate by acquiring the distinct and measurable biometric data, which can be a physiological or behavior. These are the two type of the data. It is generally chosen for the biometric. And physiological, it is a iris, fingerprint, hand, retina, face recognition, and behavior, how you behave. That is a what is your behavior for that particular, how you type thing, something, how you write signature something, what is the way of your walk, that is a Gantt pattern, that is a behavior pattern. And if we see the application scenario for biometric, there are three scenario I have captured here. One is the authentication, and second is the identification, and third one is the capture resilience. These are the main scenario where biometric is used for the security point of view. One is the authentication. We have the probe, and there is a already enrolled user. That is, we say the reference, and we compare the probe with the reference. It is a we authenticate the person.
वो चल रहा है 2 मिनट.
The second is the identification. Identification is the we have number of the enrolled users,
सर्वे
and in those number we try to identify one of the probe. That is the identification. That is a matching of a probe which already bunch of the already reference there, and we try to compare the probe with the reference, and we try to identify the probe. The third application is capture resilience. Capture resilience is basically is the application for the cryptology, we can say, for the crypto system or a secure system, where our purpose, very much purpose, is to generate the cryptographic key. How we generate the cryptographic key through the biometric, that is the application, so that we can secure the data. And this is the application, that is the capture resilience. These are the limit, some of the limitation for the that is a what we know, we say it is a password. The password we need to remember, and generally mostly, or we use the weak password that can be either related to some of the your previous password, or the password with your some of the like name, or it is a weak password we will choose. And the very much advantage for the biometric is that it cannot be generally cloned, and we need not to remember the biometric. Just we have to press the finger or give an iris to be authenticated, or do some process whatever we want to do. Now, this is a simple overview how biometric based system will work. During the enrollment, two phases are there. One is the enrollment phase, and second we say the verification phase. During the enrollment, user will give the biometric to the sensor. Feature is structured, and it is saved as a system database. That we say enrollment of the user. The second is the verification. Verification will come two parts. One is the authentication or identification. Right? During the verification, what we have to do, we user give the biometric, it gives to the sensor, feature are structured, and it is compared with the already stored feature in the database. And based on this matcher, we take the decision whether it is a genuine or an imposter. Or if it is a we identification, there are a number of user in the system database, and this particular user is identified among all these. That is the identification thing. We get a number of the score in the matcher rather than a single score in case of authentication, and the decision is taken whichever the maximum one, and that particular person is identified with the reference. Now, if we take the application scenario for biometric, the it has the application airport, Aadhaar card, that we already know, attendance system, law and justice, mobile security, weapons are there, door lock are there. These are the some of the applications that you all aware about. And if we see the Indian scenario, there is a lot of progress in the biometric field, and we are coming with the technology to be adapted for almost everywhere, like banking also there, and your this Bheem app, that is also financial transaction, it is there. Then airport, this is also introduced recently, that biometric based authentication. Then blood bank and all this management, their authentication is required or identification is required. That is a switch over from the password based things or token based thing to a thing that is a biometric which you possess, or you how you behave. your behavior thing. Now, the biometric system, they basically build up with some of the feature from the feature, or we can say trait from the human, like fingerprint is there, facial. These are the some of the traits generally used for the biometric to be system to be developed. Iris is there, palm print is there, voice is there, ear is there, signature is there, or your working pattern is there. These are the some of the traits which is used for the building the biometric system. Of course, I will discuss what are the advantage, what are the merit and demerit of all these traits, and how we choose the trait that we will going to discuss. Now, generally, when we choose the biometric, these are the six. This is the universally universally we can say some of the criteria required for biometric trait to be selected. One is the distinct. It should be among all the thing, all the population. All should possess that particular biometric, and the universal possessed by all. Distinct matter, it will basically distinguish ourselves from the other. Distinction, it should, if this feature we getting from this, if it is not distinct, that is not acceptable for a biometric thing. Then collectible, people will ready to give that particular trait. Invariant, it should not change as drastically with the time. Of course, all the biometric generally there is a variation. If we take the face, it has the variation with the change in the trait as we grow up. But some traits are there, like our iris, which is basically we say less variant with the time. They are generally preferred as compared to other. Fingerprint is less variant with the time. Face is one of the things that is a variant with the time. Then acceptable, the population is willing to give that particular trait and want to use that thing. And this sixth one is difficult to imitate. Imitate means it is difficult to forge that thing. It is difficult to clone that thing. That is generally preferred. If we say the fingerprint, and the second is our iris. Iris is difficult to forge, imitate, where the fingerprint is very easy to forge. Now, these are the, if we take the hand reason for biometric things, these are the various, we can say various traits generally people has used for the building the system, or doing some research work. These are the things. One is the fingerprint, palm print, then hand geometry, hand veins or hand knuckle print. These are the basically commonly used trait on which some research is going on for building a system that is a biometric based system. Or then there is a face. When we are taking, face is one of the thing. Fingerprint is one, face is one. The face, as I already said, it has a very much dependent on the environment with the age. All these changes, things are basically affecting this face as a biometric trait. Like I shown, the illumination effect is one of the things. Then aging, same person at the different age group, or it is wearing the specs or not wearing the specs. This is a different same person, different ages, the facial expression. Then occlusion is one of the thing. Then makeup is the thing. These are the basically the hindrance factor when we build the system using the face as a biometric trait. Then ocular region, that is a eye region. There is a periocular region. There is a outside the iris, whatever eyelids are there, we say it is a periocular. Some systems are built basically with the eyes, some with the periocular, or some multimodal system with the periocular and iris. They are taking this as a trait. And here also the one is main challenge here. Whenever we expose the eye to some sensor, that is the eye is very sensitive to radiation. That is the one of the hindrance people will face when giving as a iris assay, because we are ultimately be exposed to infrared light for the iris trait to be given. And there is a matter of the distance also. You are connecting the eye close to the sensor, or you are keeping it a far off. For which place you are putting the sensor, your feature will basically change there. That is also one of the concern. And external sources, interference or environment, illumination, all these things also affect the iris when we are using as a trait. Then behavior as a trait, if we are using behavior thing is one of the concern, that is it basically change very drastically with the time. If we have it some working pattern, and then this one is it is change with the time. Second is very easy to imitate. Like it is difficult to imitate your iris, it is very easy to imitate your walking pattern or your signature. That thing, it is a very easy to do these things. And it is a second is it also changes with the time also. Like your working pattern with the age, your weight, all these things, it will behavior will change. Or your typing speed, it also will vary with the time. So these are also one of the, if a skilled person is there, he can easily imitate or mimic your behavior thing. Then there is a some soft biometric things. Soft biometric things are like your height, your hair color, your weight. All these are basically soft biometric things. And the only concern with the soft biometric is very less distinct. That we already said there is a one constraint, that distinct, it should be distinct. The distinction between these things, very discriminative information is very less as compared to the other biometric traits. And so generally the system are built with some sort of, we can say it is a multimodal system, where there is a some soft biometric and there is a hard biometric. That combination is generally preferred for building the system. Then there is a concern with the data acquisition and data storage. That is another aspect that also there. That is also we can be taken as a research program. And the data storage is your, when we template, how it is compromised, how we protect that template. That is the concern that I will discuss in the latest slide. Now I will come to the what are the research dimension for biometric to be pursued, that I will discuss here. Now, if you see a ISO architecture, any question from previous slide? Hello.
No, sir, good to go.
Okay, fine. You can stop me anytime if you have any query, and I can answer that time. Now, if I say what is the this is a slide I have taken from the ISO standard, and it basically depicts a biometric to be built, right? Here there is again two stages are there. One is the data capture, and then second side is a data your authentication stage. During the data capture, we give the biometric trait M. It is given to pseudo-Neumann identifier encoder, where we get the PI and AD. PI is the pseudo-Neumann identifier, AD is the auxiliary data. Right? There is a feature restriction module, which is a nomenclature is pseudo-Neumann identifier encoder. PI data is stored in the database, and AD data is some auxiliary data. It is not essential data. Then at the acquisition, during the authentication side, again this side there is a M dash we will take as a biometric, which a pseudo-Neumann identifier recorder is there, which will get the PI dash. And PI dash is basically the feature. And similarly here in that template we are storing the feature here. This auxiliary data does not matter. Then PI dash is compared with the PI, and decision is made here whether the person is authentic or genuine, or some imposter is there. Okay? Or we give the access to the system, or we deny the system, that decision. This is a very simple diagram by the ISO standard. Now, what are the challenge? What are the research problem? Which direction research is going on? That I will highlight here. One is the how we enhance the performance of this system. That is the one aspect that I'll also discuss, and how basically research is going on, that I am also going to discuss. The second aspect is how we protect the templates and why it is required, that I am going to discuss. The second research dimension is database protection. Your template stored feature to be protected. That is the second research dimension. The third dimension is how we protect the spoofing attack. That is also called one of the serious vulnerability for biometric system is that is the presentation attack, spoofing attack also said, and it is reported in the NIST standard also. And in these are the three scenarios that I have seen as a research paper where research is going on. One is the performance enhancement, second is the database protection, and third one is the spoofing attack. Now come to the first one. First is how we enhance the performance for the biometric system. So we have a single modality. We extract the feature store as a template, and during the verification, we give the we extract the feature compared with the this thing and take the decision. The performance enhancement can be made, yeah, by using the multiple modality. Rather than one modality, we can go for two modality, and combined system has the enhanced performance as compared to single modality. This is the one aspect. The second, why we go for the multiple modality, it is difficult to forge the all the modality. Like if I am building a system with fingerprint, it is very easy to forge the fingerprint thing. It is very easy to mimic the fingerprint or clone the fingerprint. But if I combine the fingerprint with the iris, it is very difficult to forge both the thing for one user, right? That is the so security is, we can say, also enhanced when we go for a multi-modal things, and because it is difficult to forge all the two things as compared to one thing. Now what, how to enhance the performance, that I am going to discuss. Like this I said, biometric modality one, then feature some processing is there, then feature extraction from modality is there, then the second modality also there, we get the feature, and know how to fuse the multiple modality. That is the one research dimension, right? This is the one research dimension, how to fuse the multiple modality. Now, the concern is when we either there are four scenario. This fusion can be made either at the sensor level, at the sensor just we fuse the things and we can process further, or it can be at the feature level. We extract the feature, combine the feature. This fuse feature is used for the final identification or decision making, or at the score level. We multiple modality, we get the score, and this score to be fused and to take the final decision. Or it is a decision level. Individual classifier give the decision, and rather than score, they will give the decision. And decision is again subjected to some fusion decision model where final decision is taken about the genuine or imposter thing. So these are the four dimensions where basically research is going on to adaptively fuse the multiple modality to enhance the performance. When it is this is also case there, like sometimes all the modality at the same time are not as much affected. Maybe your fingerprint is maybe gummy fingerprint, your iris give the better performance, your face has the some occlusion, it degrade with the time, that is there. So how the adaptivity to the environment can be built up in the feature fusion, in the score fusion, decision fusion, or sensor level fusion? That is the research program. How we model the environment in this thing so that better decision can be taken. This is the research dimension you can pursue for your research work. The lot of research is going on in this particular direction only. How to fuse the multiple modality in biometric system to get the better decision. The adaptability to the environment, adaptability to the security level. Like one system is there, that is how we adapt this thing with the different type of visitor. Like prime minister visit is there, we require higher security. The same system, how we can adapt with the general public access, that how we can do, or how for the casual thing we can adapt this system. That adaptivity is also can be one of the research thing with the security, that is also at the fusion level. Something we can fuse thing with the security level, different grading, different performance, different environment issue challenge solving. That is the modeling we can do for the biometrics. Now, now come to this, what is the challenge when we have the fusion here that I already said. When we have a future level fusion, we extract the features from the different, the features are generally very complex feature. Like they have the real number. If we face with some Gable filter or we get the output that is very complex number. The complex features are there. They have the different dimensionality. Mean your iris feature has the one dimension, your face feature has another dimension. Like one is the 100 byte, the other is the 1 lakh byte. How to fuse this type of different type and dimension of the feature, that is also one of the channel. The another is how to dimensionally reduce the feature, the size of the feature for the final unified thing. It should be less as compared to the other thing. So when we why I said the this thing is important, because the feature are very high size or big size, we ultimately going to the space complexity also. The system requires the more resources for storage of that feature. Like if it is a one user, that is fine. But if it is there is a 1,000 user, we require a lot of space for storing the high complex feature, and there is a response time is also high. If it is a very high feature, we require template to be very high for single user. We need to compare that particular template with the feature structure, because that is also one comparison is there, that also requires the more response time. So the feature to be different type and dimension, how can we fuse, how can we adapted, how can we reduce the dimension of these feature, and these are the basically the challenge for the feature level fusion. Similarly, there is a challenge in the score level fusion. Score means one classifier it already compared with the own template, the another classifier it already compared with the own template and give the score S1 and S2, and how we combine the S1 and S2. Now S1 and S2 should be normalized first. That is the normalization it should be there. One classifier giving the range from 0 to 1, the another classifier maybe give the range from 0 to 1000. We cannot, it is not that is a preferable without normalization to combine 0 1 with the 1 0 to 1000. So first normalization is one of the challenge for this biometric thing, and then of course this adaptive comparison, combining of these scores to get the final decision, that is also challenge. Then this I already said all these things. Dimensionality reduction is one of the challenge we can take up as a research program. Then environmental, how we can handle at the fusion level, that is also to be addressed, right? Then the this score level require the normalization things. These are the I already covered. These are the research gap for where research is going on, and you can also start the research for this section. The another dimension is that is the biometric template protection. How we can protect the database. Why it is important to protect the database in biometric? Because if somebody will take out the database, your template, and he can, it is, if he can retrieve your fingerprint, your loss is permanent from the template the database. Why it is important to protect here? Because once your fingerprint database is compromised, then it is if it is possible to recover back, to reverse back to your fingerprint, you somebody can create from the database your dummy fingerprint, then your this loss is a permanent. It is not that particular system is compromised, your whole security, whatever you may use your fingerprint, same for the financial transaction, maybe used for your attendance, maybe used for some other purpose, and that compromise is a permanent compromise. It cannot your finger, you cannot replace your fingerprint there. It is a permanent loss. That is why this database protection is one of the research direction where a lot of research is going on, and how we protect this thing. And just I classify here what are the approaches for this particular database protection. One is the direction that is called the cancelable biometric. Cancelable biometric is here, as I depicted in this figure. We have during the enrollment we extract the cancelable feature, cancelable from transform is such a transform, it is not, we can say, the hash function, because if it is a hash function, then it's hash has the property that some change in the input, it will greatly affect the output. Some bit change in the input, it will greatly affect the output. But here we cannot use the hash here, because when we press our fingerprint, if it is an environment factor, your stress pattern, your way of putting this fingerprint, your then hash, if it is used, it is a completely change in the output. Then you may not be authenticated as easily. So that is the concern here. So it is a some sort of, we require a cancelable transform. Cancelable transform has the property that the one thing is, the from the database I cannot go back to your fingerprint. That we have to irreversibility things we have to give. The second thing is, the system should not degraded with the performance. The transform should cater to variation in the input at the acquisition time, during environment time. That is also, it should be catered. So it is a one is the non-invertive to be ensured. The second is, the performance should not be directly reduced using the transformation, because we are doing the no comparison in the transform domain. The determine the similarity between this template stored in the transform and the query template which is here, that is in the transform domain. The transform domain, it should not be, transform should not be such that some variation in the input, complete change in the feature output. That should not be there. So that if it is a complete change, then we, our of course database and our query things will not match. We will not get the good decision. So transform should such that the performance should not be degraded. The second is, reversibility should be ensured. That is there. Now these are the three dimensions I have mentioned here. One is the non-invertible mapping, one is the salting, and quantized random projection. These are the dimensions where this transformation cancelable transformation basically pursued. Now the another is fuzzy commitment. This is also for the template protection. This is another second approach I am saying, where some work is going on. Here, what is there? We biometric, we bind some secret Z here. Your biometric, we extract the feature, we bind something that is a secret is there Z, that is binded, and this secret and biometric feature, they are stored in the template. Now property is here, from the given template you cannot get back the Z unless and you cannot get back the your biometric unless and until you give the Z, right? So here also like here also in query side, you basically extract the feature here, and these basically these two S and D are compared, and we get the Z here. Only the secret can be from the template here. It can be recovered when we give the biometric. So Z is, if Z is exactly matched, we say it is authentic. Otherwise, we say it is an imposter. The another this is the dimension where it is a encryption thing is done, and it is not a encryption generally the it is a lightweight encryption, and this application is mainly used for the cases where it is a cloud based application, because when we perform the encryption, we decrypt the thing, and that is the case encryption that require the high computation. Generally, these type of systems are basically deployed for the cloud-based application. Here we have the template. We extract the template feature is extracted. It is encrypted. We encrypt it and store as a template. The encrypted thing are stored here. The here a query is there, then encryption is there, then this thing we get the distance. We compare the encrypted this thing with the database encrypted, and we get the output here. And this is again this is a secure private key is there. Here is a public key encryption is this. We get the thing that is a decision here, and based on the threshold we decide whether to accept or to reject this particular thing. Now what is the challenge here when we go for the this thing? One is the non-invertibility. that I have already said, if we see the complete non-invertibility, the performance will somewhat suffer. Like a complete non-invertibility come with the hash thing. If we are using the hash, then the performance will somewhat that will suffer. The generality is the case. That is the we can say whatever the works are there generally what they will say, this is the cancelable transform, this is a feature, this is applicable for your fingerprint. They show the thing with the fingerprint, but when we go apply same transform for the other traits like iris or face, the performance will not as it is, or that is the case, it will be maybe reversed. So the whatever the transform you are going to propose, it should be general, so that irrespective of what are the traits we are using, we get the same performance and the same level of the security. Then image quality conundrum is the one case. The when we make the system dependent upon the quality of the system, like if your performance is dependent upon your quality, then your presentation attacks that is not detected, right? If it is a quality independent, then presentation is detected. This thing how we tackle, that is also the research problem. The another aspect is the adversary attack, the robustness. The when we have a template protection, we I list out the different attack also in later slide. It should be protected with all the adversary attack rather than showing that it is a protected for one or two attacks. The things I am telling, this is the research dimension, that is a spoofing attack for the biometric system. Spoofing there are the two cases. One is the direct attack, if it is a security attack we say, and second is the indirect attack. The one attack, only one attack, the attack number one, that is a direct attack, that is a fake biometric, or we can say presentation attack, or we can say it is a spoofing attack. This is one type of attack where we, rather than manipulating or getting access to touching the particular biometric system, just in outside, we just give one thing input, that is a spoof fingerprint, and we can get the access. That is a direct attack. The second attack is that is indirect attack, where we basically have the access to this system and we do some manipulation or some we can say some hidden malwares are there that will take the decision change, or it will do some feature modification. That thing how we inside the system we manipulate the things so that it system can be compromised. That is the indirect attack. All the attack from 0 to like 8 0 to 8, they are the indirect attack. It is as I listed here, replay the data, old data here. After biometric sensor, we can access the system, override the feature structure. You can put your own feature structure and get the access. Then override the mature decision here. Decision level you also can change or modify the template stored. These are the all these are the indirect attack here, and one is the direct attack. This I already said. This is a already NIST. It is reported as a one of the vulnerability for spoofing is one of the vulnerability, and as the that's I already shown here, that is a spoofing is a face spoofing. You put your face, some face here, or dummy finger you put here. That is you get the access, and here countermeasures are there, that is also suggested by the ISO standard. That is a liveness detection, or we can detect the liveness of an individual. That is if we build a system with a liveness detection, this spoofing attack can be catered, or we can make the system independent of the quality, then also spoofing can be detected. And no, the second is spoofing. How we can protect here? We use the multiple modality. It is difficult to spoof multiple modality as compared to one particular modality, or some of the modalities are difficult to clone or spoof as compared to the other modality. No, this is also architecture from the ISO I have taken. How the system to be built here? The first block before the extraction of the feature and doing the decision thing, the first block should be the, as per the ISO standard, it should be presentation attack detection subsystem. It is the one thing. Basically, this particular thing will detect the liveness of the individual, whether individual is live or not, that it is going to discuss. Now, how to detect the liveness? There are the research dimension for it. People are working on this with different way to how to detect the liveness of the individual. And after this liveness is over, then only the feature extraction and other things will process. So what is the criteria here? We have captured the data. From the capture, we stored some criteria, that is a presentation attack detection criteria. And when we give the query, we again extract the PID feature extraction, and these with the stored criteria and this thing are compared, and we go for the feature extraction. This is the how we system to be built. Now, what are the presentation attack criteria? One is the challenge response type. We give some eye stimulation. We get the blinking of the eye pupils. That is the response we will get, and that is detected by the system. Or it is a quality or fingerprint, how behavior you are, how you press the fingerprint, that is a stress level of the biometric rate, or that is also there are so many criteria for this presentation attack, and research is going on in this particular direction, so that system can be built to foolproof from the presentation attack point of view. Now, these are the some of the research gap here. It is easy to bypass this thing. When we develop something that is a presentation attack, it should not be bypassed easily. And rather than one criteria, you put multiple criteria, and that is also then multiple criteria, how they combine to take the decision. That is also one of the research dimension. The fourth dimension for the research here, the biometric-based cryptographic key generation. That is also one of the dimension where it is the research is going on. And now, how it is basically biometric-based crypto system will work? We have a biometric input. Then this the crypto system is here. This module basically from the biometric generate one cryptographic key here, and key is given to some cryptography engine, AES, DES. It will take the plain text and key and give the encrypted data. And other side, the same thing process, we give the biometric, and it is the plain text is decrypted. This is the how. So key is generated from the biometric, and it is given to the crypto system for encrypting the thing, and this cipher is transferred, and other side the same person with the same biometric, he can decrypt it. Or you can say like this is one of the example, that biometric based pen drives, how it will work. You give the pen drive, uh, generally these are the things with the only authentication is considered, but some are there where key is also generated through the biometric, and that encryption is done that with that particular things. No, what is the challenge here? When we say the cryptography, we require the unique key for each biometric. You give the fingerprint, it should not be dependent upon the environment. We at each input, we for the same user, same instance, same trade, we require the same to be biometric key for any case, because single bit change in biometric key, cryptography key, you get a different plain text or the encrypted thing, a ciphertext. That is the challenge. So how to stabilize this thing, how to build the system so that biometric key to be unique. The second is the key to be random also. It is not the case that is a predictable key is there, then it is no use for biometric key, that particular thing. That how to build a unique key or to build a random key, that is through the biometric trade. That is a research dimension where somebody can interested, he can pursue the research. Now, the here biometric based cryptographic key is also because it is very difficult to straightforward generating a 100 for each instance, that is very challenging, and some research is already done, and some companies that I will show, they already built the product based on this. But the another dimension is that is a biometric key release, right? Key release is another thing. Here what we do, it is a key binding thing. The biometric input is there, key is already there. These two things are binded together using the key binding algorithm, and we get a helper data. This is the template here. And this template, no, this is the template. What is the property here? We cannot, from the helper data, we cannot go back and extract the key. The key can be only extracted when we give the biometric input. Now, if we require the retrieval of the key, we give the biometric input, and the helper data is there, and this retrieval algorithm basically release the key only in the case when we give the biometric input. The key binding should be such that the property here is that unless and until we give the biometric same instant as the input to the helper data. So key is binded and we get the helper data. From the helper data, if it is compromised, nobody can retrieve the key unless and until the biometric is given. That is the concern here. So the another is that is a complete cryptographic key generation through the biometric. This is the one of the company. So you see there, they have already established this concept that without another is previous one I said this is a key release things, that is a different concept, and here is only with the biometric you get the unique key and it is a random key, and for any instant, any time you give the biometric, you get the unique key. This is the another. This is a complete key generation through the biometric. That one company is of Fujitsu and another is Infinity Optic. These are the two companies. They have established this technology and it is in the market now. Now that I already discussed here that point. What are the gaps here? That uniqueness of the key, and that is the one thing. When key release is there, although it is a successful, but ensuring that particular from the helper data nobody can retrieve the key. That is the concern here. We when build the system, it should be foolproof for all the attack, all the reverse engineering efforts. And another dimension, complete cryptographic key, that already success is there, but product commercial level still it is going on research to materialize for the product level. And the another dimension, you can go for the biometric hash, where the cryptographic hash function you can generate using the biohash. That is also one of the dimensions. Now, any question from this previous slide? Hello? हेलो
सर कोई इशू नहीं है, बढ़िया है.
ठीक है. Okay, I will continue. Now another is performance analysis for how we measure the performance, and how we measure the what are the metric for the performance and what are the metric for the security analysis, privacy analysis, that I am going to discuss, and then I will discuss my some of the research I have carried out. Now one is the performance is that is you already know that is a false accept rate, false reject rate. These are the performance metrics for the biometric things. False reject rate and false accept rate. False accept rate, how many imposters you are going to accept in the system. False reject, how many genuine are basically rejected in the system. These two measures basically give the false reject rate and false accept rate. And based on the application scenario, these two parameters are basically adjusted.
Hello.
Right, and the value of these parameters depend upon the what are the threshold we are using for the decision making. If we this is the I have shown here the threshold value. If I move the threshold to this side, I get the FAR to be less and the FRR to be high. So the threshold basically decide what are the values we are there and what are the application of the scenario. Based on this, which threshold we are going to decide. As I said, threshold thing. This is the case when it is a high defense security application. false accept rate to be reject rate to be low, and the forensic thing FRR false reject rate to be low. And civilian is this side, and this is the curve. And the another performance metrics are equal error rate, decidability index. This is basically decidability index is one term which basically measure how much scores from the genuine and imposter class they are basically separated from each other, and it is decided by the decidability index. Equal error rate is a case where FAR is equal to FRR. Right. Then similarly, DTD curves are there, recognition index is there, storage and computational complexity, CMC curves. All these are basically are the performance metrics for biometric based system. Now, security analysis is, if it is a concern, is security it deal with either discovering the biometric of the enrolled user, like your fingerprint, how much can I discover back, reverse back, or gaining access to the data or services, or I can take the access to this system and final authentication, that how I can bypass things, how can build things for to be denied for this thing, that is a security analysis. So here, as per ISO standard, these are the 6 measures to be considered by building a system to be robust against the security analysis. One is the unlinkability analysis, then irreversibility analysis, renewability, revocability, and confidentiality, integrity, availability. These are the ISO will say these are the 6 measures which should be considered while making the building a system to be foolproof against the security attack. Now, what are the how we measure this, and how we basically analyze the system from this point of view? That is another research dimension. How we basically build the measure the unlinkability, measure the renewability, how we different correlation things, how we build the system from confidentiality point of view. All these things are another dimension. If unlinkability, so many research papers are there, basically they give different way to find out the unlinkability of the biometric based system. Similarly, the renewability or revocability, so many papers, so many, this is also one of the direction that can be pursued as a research dimension. So as I just defined one of these terms, whatever, what is the unlinkability is there. Now, suppose we have two biometric instance, same your fingerprint here, same fingerprint here. And this is one system, that is the application one, maybe your financial thing. The second is your application, your office authentication. So two application, two templates are there. Now, if somebody will take out these two templates, and from this template, can he make out that this is your fingerprint and this is for the X person, and it is for the biometric trait, that is a fingerprint. The unlinkability analysis will basically say that these two templates to be given to anybody for analysis, that person cannot make out that this is for the same X person and this is for the this particular biometric trait. That should not be happen. So the template should not be for the different application, different system. The template should not be linked together. Linkage should not be there, right? That is a measure for the unlinkability things. So here, then this linkage function, this how we basically this score we get here, and it is basically then again over the database, over complete database with the different application, one system, second system, and multiple system. We compare it, we do the analysis, and based on that only we can take the decision whether it is the unlinkable or unlinkable thing. So this is the how basically the unlinkability analysis is there. And some you say there is a score, they will find out that through over the database, the probabilistic analysis, PDF analysis of the method, non-method things that is compared, and based on that one score, that is say the D score, D system score is calculated, and that will decide if it is 0 not linkable, otherwise 1 linkable. This value 0 to 1 it will give something. and we decide about the threshold, and based on the threshold we say it is a linkable or unlinkable. Now the second is the irreversibility. Irreversibility is how much computational efforts is required, like it is a template is here, how much is effort is required to go to D, how much is required to this floating this particular feature, then ultimately to your original fingerprint, or then to your original finger. How much computational power is required to going back, reverse the all the things. That is your irreversibility analysis. If it is a high complex, your floating numbers are there, more combinations are there, then it is your system, we say it is a highly. If it is real numbers are there, then it is a complex to reverse back. If it is a binary number with less length or small length for the feature, it can be go back to the system original fingerprint or minutiae point that can be replayed. So irreversibility is measure how much is effort is required going back to this particular fingerprint. That is the irreversibility analysis. The third one is the revocability, renewability. Revocability will say that like unlinkability, it is the across the application from one system to the second system. The revocability will for same system, application one mean here I say it is a system one only, and revocability will say your this particular template database for all the user is compromised, this upper one, and with the new key you generated the again the template where template for all the user. The correlation between the newly generated and already compromised one, that should be no correlation is here. The things you are revoked, that is you are due to compromise, you revoke this template for all the user. The things you have template you have generated with the new key for all the same user, to the correlation analysis of this template, is it possible we can make out some correlation and say this is the for the user one, this is for the 3, and this some sort of numbering we can do, then it is a say not revoked. If it is no correlation is found between the compromise and newly generated, then we say it is a revocability of the template is ensured. Now, the another attacks, these are the attacks I am saying, and these are also literature, it is available. And these are the location I said in the figure, previous one where all direct and indirect attacks are there. And what are the defense mechanisms are there that I have listed out. Like spoofing is there, it is at a sensor level, and protection mechanism is the liveness detection or multi-biometric. Then replay is there. It is at the interface or channel level. The solution is the encrypted channel, timestamp, challenge response, and physical isolation. These are the measures for this, and these are the basically attack point of view. And if these are the what are the measures are there, this defense mechanism, these are all are the research domain for the biometric. All are the cases where you can pursue the research. These are the separate topic for the research program to be taken up. Now, how we measure the spoofing here, evaluation of spoofing here. Spoofing, in case of a spoofing, we divide the database, or we generally there is a when we evaluate any biometric based system, there is already benchmark database are available in the online, and you can just register there, download it, and refer their link they are saying in the research paper, and use that one. And when we publish any publication, generally it is preferred that you have to perform your experiment on the benchmark data set only. It is not you generate your own 10 or 20 finger and you say these are the results. Generally, when high level of the research is there, they require the result to be reproduced on the your benchmark data set. And similarly, there when spoofing is there, there is already one spoofing, real-time spoofing database are there. That one slide is there. There I mentioned what are the database, and that particular database only you can evaluate the system from the spoofing point of view. If it is a foolproof to the spoofing thing. Now, what is the difference here? Spoofing and your other database. There in other database, it is a we have the like one fingerprint for 100 users are there. We have a multiple instance for that particular individual. Like one user we have 10 fingerprint sample, or another we have a 10 sample. Some we use for the training, some we use for the validation, some we use for the testing. These are the how we categorize these things. But in case of a spoofing, we have the three type of things. One is the genuine imposter, and the third one is the spoofing. Spoofing image is spoof image for the individual is also available. So with the we these things we basically then we generate the template and give the number of the spoof image. How many images are basically accepted spoof image, that is measured as the SFPR, spoof FPR, and based on that we will basically decide whether it is acceptable or not. Now these are the some of my work that my students have basically done, and it is already available in the internet also as a research paper. You can refer that also. I just discuss all these works. One is this multimodal system with a score level fusion. Here we basically build the system where we have a multiple classifier. Then we require the optimization BSA. Then we have a optimal fusion using PCR rule, and we take the decision. Right. This is the whole system is there. This is I shown here. We have the iris, fingerprint, and fingerprint. From each we extract the feature. The templates are for the iris already stored here during the enrollment side. Fingerprint is also stored, fingerprint is also stored. And during the query side, we give it and we get the score S1, SV, and SF for the three things. And how these scores are basically adaptively combined. That fusion model we have built here. Like if all three, they have the conflict between them, conflict may be the your fingerprint is something gummy fingerprint you are putting, or it is affected with the environment, or your sensor is not proper, then particular thing this SF you are getting low, but these two are high. How to suppress this and boost this and get the final decision in favor of user, that is the things modeling we have done here. And if there is a three are conflicting, how we get the conflict to be resolved between the three and get the final decision in favor of the user, that thing we have done here. And if we see here, these are the some of the results. Now I said if these are the scores from the fingerprint, iris, and your fingerprint. Now, if all the score is above 0.5, above the threshold, I will boost my final score. If there is a conflict between these, two are high, one is low, and resolve the conflict and get something here. If all the saying this is no, this is a imposter thing, all are giving the direction, then I will suppress here. If I boost the good case, suppress the bad case, or resolve the conflict between the multiple conflicting sources, then I ultimately my score distribution, this is the case for the imposter and this is the case of the genuine. If I do this modeling here, I will get this distribution separated from each other. Once it is separated, we say the classification decision is better. So this is the things we have done here, the model here, the multiple score, and we resolve the conflict, suppress the discordant things, and boost the concordant thing, and we basically separated the score distribution between the imposter and the genuine thing, and we get a once this is separated, this is a distribution over the multiple sample, this is also distribution over the multiple sample, and based on this, so our decision is ultimately going to be high end. We can enhance the performance for your system here. This I summarize here this thing. The another is multi-biometric system, and again here it is a optimization things we have used different, but model is almost same. Here PCR6 is there, then but here we one thing we have done, we fuse the feature also, rather than previous one. Here we have only the score template is there, and this template is basically combined here as we get the score for here, and score level and decision is there. But here we process the feature also using the different similarity graph and between the all modality, and this is a cross fuse between these modality to get the better feature here. And now I will discuss this research work. This is very recently published in Transaction. Now here, this is totally, we can say something new here. Now generally biometric system, what we will do, we have a fingerprint, we extract the template and stored in the database, right? But fingerprint is there, we extract the minutiae point, and these minutiae point, what are the x, y coordinate or r, theta, and that cn is there. And that thing we generate as for one minutiae, that point as a feature. Similarly, if a user has 100 user, 100 minutiae point, we correspondingly we get the fingerprint template, and that is template is stored here. Now, what we have done, we from fingerprint we extract the feature here from all. Then we have a key fingerprint. These are the key fingerprint which we are keeping as it is. Like in our case, it is a 30 fingerprint, that is not the for the enrolled user. It is any dummy fingerprint here for the we are keeping in the system, and it is a key fingerprint. Now this fingerprint feature for 30 also we extract the feature. For this fingerprint also we extract the feature. How much my this fingerprint is similar to these already stored fingerprint, or these which I say it is a key fingerprint. How much similarity is there? So I get a one score here, that is a that I say the similarity score of my user fingerprint with the key fingerprint. That now I get the 30 score here, and this is now my fingerprint for this particular, this similarity of this with these key fingerprint is now act as the feature for my further processing. Similarly, for face also, we extract the face feature here, and with the key feature, we compare here, and it is we generate a graph here. This is a graph here, where the graph is the query is the one node, and all other key how it is similar, that is the other nodes. And the weight is basically the edge. Edge is the how much my fingerprint is related to, how much is similar to that. Here it is a Pearson coefficient, here a Euclidean distance. How much is the distance between this fingerprint feature and this key feature, that is my edge here in the graph. Similarly, for the iris also, I generate the graph with the how much my iris is related to this key fingerprint, and it is now act as the feature here. Now these are the basically acting as the feature here. Rather than I am storing the this minutiae point directly here, I am storing this correlation between these already fingerprint keys or the face key or the iris key. These correlations is now stored as a graph, and this from this graph we get the this is a normalized graph. We normalize this thing, we get the QP normalized for all these. This normalized graph is then given to this fusion model. This fusion model, this side we get the quality to be here estimated for all these things, and get these scores. Now this graph fusion is here, we have proposed here the how we combine these multiple modality, and we get the sparse graph. First, from the normalized we get the sparse graph, the second is the rank graph. Then here this cross diffusion is there. Cross diffusion, what we do, if it is a fingerprint here, the fingerprint this rank graph is basically combined with the ZOR of other two modality, the sparse of other two modality, and this and with the actual modality that we are doing here, and we get the fuse feature. right? Because the sparse things are very small thing, and the rank is the high value. So ultimately, for the actual modality, we are taking the rank here. For the other two modality, we are taking the sparse here. And this sparse and rank, they are combined here. We get the fused template here. And these template are then combined here and adapted with the this quality factor, and we get a unified template here. And this unified template, now it is stored as the cancelable template here. And once we query is given, again we extract all these things, we get a unified factor, and this unified thing is then compared with the cancelable thing, and we take the decision about the genuine and imposter. Now this is how it is there. Now here what is the merit of this approach is there. It is impossible to at any cost, nobody can get back to the fingerprint, because we are not storing the minutiae point, we are storing here the how much is the relation with the actual some dummy fingerprint which is stored in the database. That is the beauty of this approach, and it is published in transaction also, IEEE transaction. You can refer to this paper also. Now, what else you can do here with this work also? If somebody was interested, he can pursue the further also. The you can adapt. You can go for this thing, fusion approach. You can adapt. You can make the another adaptation to this fusion approach, so that it can be better enhance the performance for this thing. Or further enhancement you can pursue here. You can do something liveness detection to this particular system, so that presentation attack also can be mitigated for this thing. Although we have done the adaptiveness of this system with the quality things, so that presentation is wider, but liveness detection with some liveness detection mechanism can be integrated here. Or the this adaptive fusion also things you can change, or you can go for the better fusion approach. That is another dimension you can pursue. So it is a totally out of turn things. We, rather than first time we have proposed here, rather than actually storing the template, we are storing now how much it is related to the some known things, and we get the thing. Now the merit here, the another is, suppose this template is compromised. The just I change the key, or I can change the order of key, I get the different template again. This is the one of the merit of this particular approach. Now, these are the results for this approach. We have compared this adaptive, non-adaptive things, and with the other already published research work, and we get a very good performance here. And this I already said what are the further things you can pursue here. Though this is another work here we basically done for this particular biometric thing. This is also adaptive graph-based cancelable multi-biometric approach. Now here what we have done, it is another new concept here. Now here also key are there. Key is already there. That is the previous same concept we are using. But here we introduce the CNN things for the biometric thing. CNN, why it is performance wise is earlier not so good here. Like biometric is when we go for a straightforward CNN thing, we require a high level of training of the CNN model. But the of course biometric is concerned, we are not having lot of data to train. If some we go for IIT Delhi data set, we have a limited number of user data set for the eyes, or another data set that is number of the user for the database is very less. So our CNN things are not fully trained when we straightforward go for the training for this biometric thing. So so training is not proper, then effectiveness of the feature is very we cannot say so distinct feature. Now here we introduce some of the, this is ResNet model, and we introduce two layers here, and that two layers are we trained with the data set. And earlier is already that is the trained, previously trained data set we have model we have taken, and two layer additional where we introduced the two concepts. One is the dropout things. Dropout here we basically our purpose of a dropout is to get the non-invertibility. To get the non-invertibility of the feature, we put the dropout here. This is the one thing. And from the iris, we extracted the two things. One is the periocular and iris thing, and two multimodal things. Then this key will generate one random matrix here. That is a random matrix is generated through normalization median filter for the key thing. Key is also processed through this model, and we get the feature. And through this matrix for this key, we get a normalized and random matrix is there. This random matrix is projected on the query feature. Query feature random matrix is projected on the this thing, and we get a cancelable feature here. These are the cancelable features. Now these are stored in the as a database, as a template we can say, but real authentication is not done with this particular template. It is the online. From this template, we generated the new template that is in the volatile memory or RAM. In the we are generating this particular template, and that is the online generation of this template. And this online generated template is then taken for the decision making. That is the case. Now, what is the purpose of here generating the online? One is the security concern. The second is we require the highly distinct features for this particular template. How we can achieve here, because these features are not as much distinct here because of less training of the CNN model here. But no feature how it is generated. These templates, these are the stored template for the, if it is a 20 user is there, how much these are basically correlated between these. We get the score, and that score is basically used to generate the normalized score. Then we generated the optimal score from this particular normalized score. And normalized and optimal score, they are again fused here through the cross fusion, and we get a unified feature. And this unified feature is stored in the volatile memory, and it is used for making the decision here for the classification as a genuine and imposter. So this is another dimension which we introduced to protect the system from the security point of view, and second to achieve the high performance here. Two things are there. One is the key-based cancelable feature extraction and deep feature fusion that we have proposed. And these are the result. We achieve high accuracy here, performance here in terms of DI and EER. And these are the curves for their performance, DET curve and CNC curve. And these are the unlinkability analysis. Here method and non-method things we have generated, and these we have seen the method and non-method, they are superimposed on this. And this is for the revocability analysis. No, these are I already said it is robust against various security and privacy concerns. And the another thing you can here do, that how you optimize the different parameters for this particular model, that is the research can be taken up. And how we you can fuse here this thing and fusion model side, that is also can be taken, or better CNN model with better that you can change here, and you can go for the another extension of this work. Now this most of the thing I have already said. What are the research gap that we have discussed here, that the challenge with the environment, that is how to build the system so that it is robust against the different environmental challenge. That is the one dimension for the research to be pursued. The another dimension is multimodal things, core level fusion, or we can go for the modeling for the different scores to get a optimal score fusion, or we can different type and dimension of the features. If it is a feature level fusion, how we can go for that, how we can adapt the different type of security features, security levels in your fusion model. That is also one of the research dimension. Then how we can go for the better liveness detection things, that is also one of the search dimension. Then how we can generate a unique and completely random cryptographic key from a biometric, that is another search dimension. And these are the some of the reference, and this is my email ID and contact number. Anybody interested, they can contact me related to this field. And any question from this? And hello.
Anybody wants to ask anything? Any doubt?
सर ये फॉल्स रिजेक्ट और फॉल एक्सेप्ट रेट वाला ग्राफ फिर से एक बार दिखा दीजिए जरा।
हाँ,
जो ऊपर था ना कहीं पे,
हाँ just
शुरू में कहीं था,
क्वेश्चन फंक्शन वाला।
हाँ वो वाला जरा इसमें।
हाँ
वो
देखिए,
हाँ, ये वाला है
व्हाट
मेरे
इज द false accept rate?
हाँ ये हाँ
false
तो
false accept rate क्या है आपका? You have the already threshold decided. You give the 100, suppose you are giving the 100 imposter. It is known that is a imposter thing. Okay? Imposter means your template is for the different user. You are giving for the different one. Okay? 100 imposters are there. How many imposters are basically accepted by your system? How many imposter score is above the threshold level? That will give the score 20. We are getting the above the score, that is above the threshold. So they are accepted. Right? You are 100 imposter. The template is there already with the actual user. Right? That is 100 template is there, and one by one you are going and giving to the one by comparison you are doing, and threshold is predefined, and based on this, how many out of 100, how many are accepted? If 20 is accepted, then your FAR come out to be that is a 0.2.
imposter
And
attempt.
in case of a false rejection, now your threshold is already decided. In a false reject case, the template are already there. You are decided the threshold here. You are giving the genuine. The first one is the genuine case, and if how many genuine are rejected here? Suppose
नहीं तो फिर ये वर्ड्स उल्टे होना चाहिए क्या? ऐसा मेरे को ये मतलब ये
नहीं, sorry,
ये जो
ये तो other side, it should be.
हाँ ये इसीलिए मेरे को कंफ्यूजन इसलिए हो रहा था। ठीक है मतलब ये इसमें थोड़ा मेरे को समझ में गड़बड़ हो रही थी, पर नहीं ये मेरे ख्याल से इसमें प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक है शायद थोड़ी सी, नहीं?
हाँ ये प्रिंटिंग है, it will be other side.
हाँ वो मेरे को वही कंफ्यूजन था कि यहाँ पे कुछ false
and false reject case, if 20 score is coming below the threshold, we say 20 by 100, 20.2 is the FAR.
मतलब इसमें नहीं वही मेरे को कंफ्यूजन था, पर अब आपने बता दिया कि वो एक्चुअली इसमें प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक है।
It is other side.
हाँ प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक है।
तो this particular curve how we are getting, it is with the different threshold. What value you are getting? This is
नहीं अब आगे समझ, वो कंफ्यूजन वही था कि बेसिकली ये मैं जो समझ रहा था उससे
वो other side, it will come other side.
दूसरी बात जैसे कि बायोमेट्रिक की जो जनरेट करते हैं उसको उपयोग कैसा करते हैं? यू सेड फ्रॉम द फिंगरप्रिंट यू विल जनरेट ए क्रिप्टोग्राफिक की, तो उस की को कहाँ यूज होते हैं वो थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए एक बार।
Cryptographic key, sir, it is like this. You have a pen drive, right? In pen drive you want to store the data as an encrypted one. You require the key also. Hello? Am I audible?
Prakash sir?
Like in pen drive, suppose you one is the pen drive is there. One example I give. In pen drive, you want to store data as an encrypted one. One way is how we can do the encryption there. Then one is we keep this encryption key for encryption, that is also inside the pen drive, then there is a very much purpose for encryption is almost forfeited, because the key is also there, data is also there, crypto algorithm maybe that is also there, and that is a keeping this thing as a secure with the same key which is already there in the system. Your somebody will take out your pen drive, it is lost, then key is also there. But when we generate the cryptographic key from the biometric, then key is not there inside the data, right? So in this particular case, the key is generated from the biometric, is generated from the pen drive, your biometric. One way, other way, you give some passphrase, and passphrase is given from some other tool, and then only you can decrypt the things from the pen drive, or you can keep the your key inside the pen drive. That is the cases. But biometric, you need not to enter some passphrase, or you need not to keep the this thing hash of your key inside or key inside your pen drive. You just press your fingerprint, and through fingerprint only key is generated, and it is used for decrypting the things in the pen drive, and you can get the plain text. This is the case. So security is enhanced as compared to others.
Sir, is it clear now?
It is a pen drive is one of the applications. There are number of applications where you want a storage to be done, and key to be need not to be remembered, or need not to be given from the your as a alphanumeric things, or not need to keep somewhere secret somewhere. It is just from the your own thing you want to decrypt it, then it is applicable. But it has the other issues also, like you only can decrypt or use your pen drive. Nobody else, if it is encrypted with your fingerprint, you only have to decrypt it.
Right, right.
Any other question?
Anybody wants to ask anything? So I think, sir, every doubt is clear. Very thank you, sir. You very nicely presented that how to combine multiple features, how to combine feature from wings, iris. That's quite informative. We are very thank you, sir. And it
Thank
is
you for inviting me. And if anybody has any query related to biometric field, my number and this email is there. They can contact me anytime. Not a issue.
but one
If you
thing I
want
can
to,
ask, that if somebody is doing some research in this field and he wants to get the iris data or some vein data, so they can get it from DRDO or no?
it is there everywhere online. It is there. DRDO, we are not having specialized data. It is there. Internet is there. IRIS is there. IIT Delhi is there, or so many others. Publicly available benchmark data is there.
Okay.
You can download that. Your
Okay.
personal data, if you are going for high-end research paper, then they will ask about you give the result on this particular data set. Generally, it is preferred.
Okay. Very thank you, sir.
It is free of cost. It is
Yes.
already free of cost. You can just register there and you can download there. That is a benchmark thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Right?
Sir, it is
Thank you
requested
very
to
much.
you. It is requested to you that, sir, please stop sharing your screen.
Right, right.
Sir, one of the participant has said that your number is not correct. I will send the correct number. No issues if it is not correct.
9873091230. It is
Okay.
my mistake. It is 1230.
If it is not correct, ma'am, it will be.
9873091230.
If anyone requires a number, then you can contact me. I will share the right number if it is not correct.
In this number, just add 1 before 2, 3. 9873091230. Right?
Yes, and now they are saying that it's correct. Correct.
Uh, any more question?
Just a minute, sir. So, sir, this is a small gratitude from our side, from the
Okay.
IT department. We are very thank you, sir, to be here. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for inviting me, giving
Sir,
me
I
this
will
opportunity.
I will mail you this certificate. Sir.
All right, right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we are off for this afternoon session. So we will rejoin again on 3 p.m. on the same platform. So please be with us.